the video. In this video, we are going to see how I cleared AWS Associate Architect exam. So in this video, I'm going to cover what are the preparation time I had and what are the topics I covered and what is the materials I used for my exam preparation. So this is my certificate just for your reference. And let's talk about the preparation time. So it took me around 3 months to prepare for the examination. So you can say around 90 to 100 hours of preparation. And I also had a basic knowledge about the AWS service from my project. So with that basic knowledge, I started preparing for the exams, and it took me around 90 to 100 hours of preparation. Next, we will see about what are the topics I have covered. So, when you're talking about the topics, I have categorized all the topics into the following categories. So, first storage, next networking, then databases, messaging services, and other services. First, we will talk about the storage. Under the storage, you have to explore about the S3 and EBS storage levels. So, S3 is object level storage and EBS is block level storage, and you have to understand the difference between both. So in what scenario you should know which service to choose, whether you have to choose S3 or whether you have to choose EBS. You have to understand clearly about those differences. And also in S3 itself, you'll have the different level of storage. I mean different storage classes you have. So you have to explore about all the types and what are the use cases for that. And also you will create EC2 instance with EBS. So also when you create EC2 instance, you will attach EBS volumes for storing the data. And also EC2 instance is, as you know, EC2 instance for installing the softwares. So EC2 instance is just like a server instance, and you can install your own software. And you can for creating the EC2 instance, you may get option to select different types of OS. And also you will get different types of instance, and you should know the difference between all those instance types. And under the storage topic, I got a question. The question is, the company need to store 10 TB of raw data, unlikely to be accessed, and need to store for auditing purpose. So I got four options. One is S3 Glacier, and other one is Cold HDD, and I forgot about the other two options. And I feel for this scenario, S3 Glacier is the correct option. So under the storage, these are the details you have to explore. Next, we will move to networking. And networking concept is very, very important. And you have to understand all the VPC concepts. VPC is, virtual private cloud. And you may get 10 to 15 questions from this VPC. You can say around 30 percentage of questions are from networking. And you have to understand about the subnet, private subnet, public subnet. You have to understand about subnets, private, public subnets, and bastion host, NAT gateways. And also uh, your architecture will have web layer, database layer, or any middle layer. And mostly for all the web layers, you will choose public network, public subnets. And for the database layer, you will choose private subnet. And also I got a question I got a question. That scenario is, so you have the database layer in the private subnet, and your database layer need to connect with the internet. I mean, for any security patches, for running any security patches, they need to have the internet connection. So, for making connection with the database layer, I mean private subnet, what is the ways you have? So, what are the ways you have? So, we had a bastion host and that NAT gateways. So these type of questions you will get in networking. And networking is very important topic, and you have to spend a lot of time on this networking. Next we will talk about queuing services, monitoring services. So under the queuing services, you will have SQS and SNS. SQS for simple queuing services, and SNS is for simple networking service. And you should know the difference between both. And for monitoring, there are different three services are available in AWS. One is CloudWatch, the other one is CloudTrail, the last one is VPC Flow Logs. So you should know difference between these three. You will get scenario based questions on this. And also you should understand what is the way to manage the key in AWS. So there is one type is called KMS, key management system. The other one is like CMS, customer management key system. And you have to understand encryption ways. So there are different ways you can encrypt the AWS cloud data. So you have to explore all those concepts. You'll be getting questions on these things. And we will move to Route 53. I got around 2 to 3 questions on this Route 53 topic. Basically, the questions are about to select which routing mechanism I have to select for the particular scenario. So I remember one question, that is, if the application gets one error, sorry, if the application gets any error, you need to configure a global exception page in S3. Which one the below option is the best for that? So I got the four option. One is Route 53 failover routing, health condition routing, Route 53 alias record should be created for S3 routing, Route 53 CNAME should be created for routing to S3. So I choose this option, Route 53 failover routing. And next we will see about the other services. So you have to understand about the Lambda functions, and you have to understand about Elastic Beanstalk, and you have to understand about different types of load balancing with AWS, and you have to explore about the authentication using AWS services. I mean, you have cognitive authentication and IAM role permission. So also, you can have the authentication using pre-signed URL for the S3 buckets. Then one more service, file service. This is Elastic File Service. For storing files, you can use this EFS. So you have to explore this also. And the other one is Elastic Container Service. This is a container service which is used for using Docker and other container based application. Next, we will go talk about the database. So Amazon has RDS service and Amazon Aurora database, Redshift, DynamoDB. Um, RDS supports SQL Engine, Oracle, and other database also. And Amazon Aurora supports SQL and Postgres. In that also, if like for example, if your client is having a database system which is in SQL or Postgres physical servers, they want to if they want to migrate their data to the cloud, you have to choose whether you can select RDS or Amazon Aurora. You have to understand the difference between these two services, and you have to understand the scenarios when you can choose this RDS or when can I choose the Amazon Aurora. And there is one more database called Redshift. This is for real-time data analytics. So this is kind of big data processing. And one more database is DynamoDB. This is NoSQL database. So NoSQL is non-relation database. And also one more concept called region and availability zone. So you have to understand the difference between what is region, what is availability zone, and what is replica, and how can we create disaster management system, how can we create a disaster recovery management system. And Um, Also for creating cache, what are the services used in cloud? So there is something called Elasticsearch. This is for search functionality, and these are the topics I have covered. And finally, I'll talk about the materials what I have used. Um, First, I have gone through about the Cloud Guru course in Udemy about AWS, and that with that course I got the basic understanding about the cloud. And after that, I have gone through the AWS documentation, and after that, I started taking the practice exam. Continuously, I was taking practice exam for around 2 to 3 weeks. I took around 4 to 5 tests. After that, I went for my final exam, and I have cleared my exam. Thank you for watching.